All right, welcome back. As you can see from that report, we are moving straight ahead into the conversation about this dirty fuel, adulterated fuel in the system. And I have Dr. Billy Gillis Harry, the president of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association. Thank God I didn't miss that because it's a mouthful. He's the president of Petron. So if you hear that, Petron, then this long stuff. Anyway, welcome to you, Doctor. And I know I last spoke to you some days ago when we were talking about this fuel subsidy issue. Why is it that you guys are in the news again? Everything about fuel subsidy, everything about adulterated fuel. And I've been talking about this now at least for the last 15, 16 years. And I'm really tired of talking about it because it seems we know the problems, the solutions are seemingly there, but yet things are not done the right way. Take a look at this issue of this dirty fuel. Anybody, I studied sciences. I have a science background. To an extent, I have chemistry knowledge. If you want to take out crude, you know, at different temperatures, diesel will go this one and this one and this one. So what exactly is the problem? Why are we having this?
Well, I would not say that we are isolated. I will not say that Nigeria is alone. We have problems about petroleum product all over the world. That's why we have an equal and opposite association in South Africa. It's also called the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of South Africa. The reality is that petroleum products, whether we like it or not, is the basis of fueling our everyday energy to drive the economy of this world. Not just, we may be talking about renewable energy, water, steam, and all of that. But at the end of the day, fossil fuel is the center stage. So let me take your question. Why is it that
you people don't want to, you're still living in the past, or you're still just trying to hype yourself that fossil fuel, because we're saying that renewable energy is what's catching up now, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, well, but I don't want, a discussion for another day. But the reality is at the end of the day, you need to know what is cheap, what is affordable, what is stable, what will not fluctuate, and fossil fuel will be the answer. So, yes, there is alternative energy coming, but I don't think Nigeria should be bothered about what happens to our crude oil. Well, let me get back to the question you asked. Why are we in the news? Yeah. We're in the news, I believe all for the best reason for Nigeria. Is because we are in a season and time where a lot of activities and transitions centered around the petroleum industry. Subsidy issue has come and gone, and of course we hope that the subsidy matter will be dealt with appropriately. As for this fuel that's here, I've heard you describe it as dirty, as this, as that.
Adulterated.
Adulterated. Mm-hmm. Well, the reality is that there could be a fluke in the chemistry, just like you have said. PMS is a product everywhere in the world that it's having additives. If you go to the retail station in the US and you want to buy fuel, you see they read all the octane values of different fuels at different costs. Some they will tell you clearly ethanol added, methanol added is there right on the pump. So this situation that has happened, as retail outlet owners, we are the worst hit because as usual we are the last mile in the distribution network. So of course, the people that will be held accountable by the housewife, by drivers, by CEOs, by news people like you will be the retail outlets. We are willing to explain to everyone that in this case, yes, the authority has come out to tell us exactly what has happened. Methanol was added over and above the expected value for the PMS that we use in Nigeria. Is there anybody who has science background will understand that when methanol reacts with oxygen, with air, there will always be that kind of reaction that will bring those kind of semi-solid particles. So yes, this has happened. It is a big blow on the Nigerian economy, and for us as retail outlet owners, we are worse hit, but still, because we know that this was not a deliberate attempt by
Is it not
anybody.
just underplaying is it not underplaying the situation and not making people accountable? President Buhari, I learned, has queried the authority about this. So what you're saying right now, is it not just underplaying the situation and
No,
not having punishment for those that are supposed to supervise?
I'm not saying that punitive measures should not be meted out.
Because what you said now is not intentional.
Yeah, no, but it's not intentional. There's no way anybody
How do you know
can
it's not intentional?
Well, because we're in the business. So we know that nobody is going to intentionally ship 68,000 metric tons of PMS into Nigeria that he knows is contaminated.
How would you say that? Except an investigation is done, and just like the president has called for.
That's what we called for.
Yeah.
We called for investigation. I believe that some of the strident complaints we made also culminated into this decision that the authority CE was talking about on the news just yesterday.
At what point, when exactly did you people as an association realize that there's adulterated fuel in the system?
Well,
because I saw something about January. Is it?
No, it's not true.
Okay,
it's
so when
true.
Exactly did you realize?
We got to know about this just about the 2nd, 3rd, 4th of this month. The problem probably have been there, but you know, it's a manageable problem internally, because what has happened now is that there is so much commercial disruption. Fuel is no longer sold in the stations. People who bought the fuel are already arresting retail outlet owners and creating problems. And of course, we are not going to fold our hands to see our members being harassed by anybody. And that is why we stood up as an association, patriotic association, serving Nigeria and serving our members to ensure that nobody is on the losing end. Of course, we are not saying there shouldn't be punitive measures. We recommend punitive measures because it's a major crisis in the country. Our reputation, our institutions, you know, for regulations and compliance are being put into trial. So we are not saying that, but what we are saying is that the situation should not be, you know, played more worse than it is, because genuine fuel is coming. NNPC is working very hard. PPMC is working very hard to make sure that there is fuel that admits the quality for supplies in the retail outlets.
Now, do you have a time frame when NNPC, because NNPC is the one that imports this fuel?
Yes, yes.
You and your colleagues don't do that
No,
anymore.
we don't, but we will be happy to start helping to import, because we have the capacity.
Yes, you said that before,
Yes.
at least in previous programs that I've had with you. So to an extent, NNPC, the authority and all of that should be held responsible for this, because there's a monitoring system and an evaluation system to know the specs, to evaluate what comes into the country. So for them to have missed this, they should be held accountable.
Well, the reality, let me say this, I'm not speaking for anybody, but the reality is that when difficulties come, sometimes it comes surreptitiously. In this case, there could be a number of issues, but clearly it has been defined that the ethanol quantity that was mixed into our PMS was much more than required. So that is clear that the authority is honest about it, and they are talking about it, and they are already taking preventive steps, and also to make sure that there is petroleum product in the system immediately.
So is there a time frame for that? Have they promised
Well,
you
we are working towards that. Look, all of us as Nigerians, we have responsibility. We cannot leave it just only to the authority or to an NPC. We as an association must also rise up to the occasion. We must help. Like, for instance, before this announcement came, Petron members were already starting to look for internal mechanism to help. Unfortunately, the more you drain and you think you've gotten pure petrol and expose it again to oxygen or just some air, or there's water, you know, that gets it, the more the semi-solid liquid particles come in. But we were trying as much as we can to make sure that our retail outlets are not closed. That is a patriotic work to make sure that Nigeria rolls. Because at the end of the day, we know that without petrol, PMS, the economy is going to ground.
You know what?
Yes.
I don't want us, because we are looking at this thing from the face value, and a lot of Nigerians are affected. And let me just give you a clear example. For someone that is doing kabu-kabu, for example, a taxi driver goes into a petrol station, gets fuel, and his engine starts having problem or something. This is a man that is struggling. This is a man now that his engine has problem, may not have money to fix it, untold hardship, will not give his wife money to go to the market and all of that. So it's a cycle. So it's not something that we should like downplay, because Nigerians are suffering at this point.
It's not being downplayed. If you listen carefully to what Mr. Farouk said, he said that there will be consequences. There will be commercial, repercussions. And he said it very clearly. So it's not like anybody is just going to be let off the hook, because it's a problem. But as a responsible Nigerian, I know that this problem has come. We don't need to create more problem out of it. We should all work together to find solutions. And that is what I think every association that is working on this.
Before this adulteration news came in, there was also few queues. Yes. Why? Because people were thinking either the government would remove subsidy. It did not happen. Some people were also of the school of thought that you and your colleagues were trying to hoard the commodity.
Let me explain something to all of us as Nigerians. A retail outlet has fuel from several different layers. And the profit margin is so minimal that it is not in the interest of any Petron member to hoard petroleum products. He needs to get it and sell it off so that the cost of money from bank does not, drown him. So the question of hoarding is just only a speculation, and it's not in any way going to be what Petron members would do. I cannot speak for everybody, but I can speak for my members who are very patriotic and focused on ensuring that there's discipline, there is efficiency in petroleum product delivery, because we know the importance of the use of PMS, the diesel, even ATK for our travels. And that is a major catalyst in growing the economy. So that was a speculation that was not correct. But let me say this. Whether you like it or not, human beings will always want to play to their best advantage. So we cannot say 100% that people were not speculating. But as for hoarding, there's no way we can talk about that.
Okay.
And then thereafter, this fuel thing just came up almost back to back.
Now, let's take a look at the issue of black marketers, because when I get so upset and angry that when I'm passing petrol stations, the petrol or your retail outlets are closed, but there are black marketers in front. Where are those guys that are carrying, when you leave the studio now, we're in Asokoro, just pass through the federal, the police headquarters and co, you see 2 filling stations there, you see black marketers hanging around, and I'm like, see, there's a security agency, there's the headquarters of police, see, people are breaking the law. Are we really a serious country? I just laugh when I'm passing there. What I'm trying to say in essence is that why would a retail outlet be closed and you see black marketers selling fuel in jerry cans at close to 300 naira a liter? Where are they getting the fuel? So it's a racket.
It's unfortunate that we find ourselves into that kind of situation. It should be discouraged. I will call on our members who are retail outlet owners to make sure that such jerry cans should not stay around the filling stations. And also, we will call on the security agencies to be able to help us enforce some of all these things. Because at the end of the day, whatever we are doing, if it's not going to help to grow the economy, we shoot ourselves in the foot. And we must all have that patriotic zeal to do everything possible to get it right. Nigeria is a great country. So I'm not among those who believe that Nigeria is getting to the door. We must grow. And I believe that this country will get to a very, very well recognized superpower status in this country. So these are little things that we can do. Every retail outlet owner should tell the people there, don't put it, because they didn't probably buy it from them, from that particular outlet.
So where did they buy it from?
Well, they might
Come
have
on, President. Come on, President.
No,
don't be try to be. Where did they get it from?
No, they did not have got it in that particular retail outlet.
But they are in front there.
Because if the retail outlet is closed, there's no way they can be buying petroleum.
President, are you telling me that it's just that I don't have time now to probe more? Are you telling me that those guys, they will come from another petrol station?
They could have bought it, put it in the car, and then take it close to a retail outlet.
But we know, and we've investigated this things time without number, even when we've seen, this is not the first time we're having fish scarcity in the country.
And the retail outlet there is
in fact,
responsible.
there was a guy I wanted to buy fuel on some days ago, and the gate was closed. The guy came out and told me that he would open this gate for me if I give him 1,000 naira to go in, and he would tell one of those guys to sell fuel
Nancy,
for
come
me.
on. You guys should do us good. You have
That was what I was told some days ago.
You have our compliance numbers everywhere. We are on television, we are on radio, we are insisting that as retail outlet owners, we must be responsible and we must be disciplined. If any situation happens like this, we have hotlines, and I can give it to you. Call our hotline and drop a message.
Okay, Doctor, you know the assignment I'll give to you now. When you leave the studio, we are in Asokoro, go down the hill, go towards the IG headquarters. There are 2 filling stations there. Check out what I'm saying. Check it out, and I'll get back to you. But just before, just as we close in 30 seconds, I also know that some of your outlets have this dirty fuel, so to speak. How will they get it out? You know, how is the process going to be? Because they also clean their tanks.
Cumbersome. Yeah, it's going to be cumbersome. That is part of the complaints that we have made, because we do not know the level of corrosion, the level of damage this will cause to some of our storage facilities. But as I speak to you, members are busy trying to make sure that they evacuate that product, sometimes with pressure pumps. And then now that the authority has come out to say, look, isolate the products that are wrong. That's the right thing to do.
Would there be any compensation
to
we
expect
those of
that
you,
there should,
and even to commuters, even to motorists?
Look, right now, as I speak to you, many of my members are already being harassed by motorists who bought fuel, and because they don't know the depots, they don't know NNPC, they just know the retail outlets, and that is what we are going to suffer for some time. So now we go to the police, we have to start explaining what is going on, but we have to pass it on to somebody. So every report that we're getting, ultimately we passed on to the authorities, and we should expect that there should be some level of recompense.
Okay, I think we'll follow that up. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
For speaking with us today. I've been speaking with Dr. Billy Gillis Harry, who is the President, Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association, President of Petroleum. As we move